Hey guys, welcome back to Tower of God, a new world. In today's video, we're looking at a new event that they've just announced on their Discord, which is gonna net us 4 free SSR copies and 30 extra pulls, which is quite nice for a pretty easy event. But I think there is a condition to it to do with the push notifications and stuff like that. Let's jump into it first and take a look at it, and then we'll go through the character we're gonna get and talk about him as well. So this is the notice. I just basically took a screenshot of it on Discord. The way they announced it, it's really hard to read, so I just used an AI enhancement to get it a bit bigger. But essentially, this is the event period. You can see, you can look at your different times and stuff like that. Essentially, it's a 7-day login with a catch, and the catch is that you've got to have your push notifications active. So when we go down here, once the event starts, all regulars who log into Tower of God New World will receive push notifications daily for a period of 7 days. Check the push notification, access the game and your mailbox to claim very special rewards. So what I would be doing is just jumping into the game and making sure you've got push notifications on. I don't know if to get the way it's worded makes me think to get the rewards at all, you actually have to like click on the notification on your phone or something to get it. I hope that's not the case. Honestly, I don't really know, but let's just go here into settings and you just go notice. I've got all of mine on, so I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Surely it wouldn't be that scummy, but yeah, essentially just have your push notifications on. It should be as simple as that, and then you go daily login to get your stuff. But like I said, the wording of this is a little bit weird, so who knows whether they'll do something a bit silly with it, but it should be pretty fine. So that is that. These are the event rewards. So day 1, 2, 3, and 4, we get a copy each day of Kang. Now, this is a fantastic one to pick up because it's another element tank that we don't have to get copies of, and we get to go ahead and get him to Constellation 1 with those 3 dupes. Then on day 5, 6, and 7, we get 10 summon tickets, which is just a really nice free event. Obviously, I want to see more events where we have stuff to do, but essentially, I'm happy to get free shit at the moment. Then this is just more disclaimers. Talking about the distribution and stuff like that. So let's just jump over here. I was going to jump into the game, but the game's a bit blurry on emulator to try and read skills. So I'm just going to go over to Pridewin. I'll leave this linked in the description. They got a whole database with a bunch of guides and stuff like that all set up on the site. But this is him who we're going to get, and we're going to get 4 copies of him, which is fantastic. And in like some of my team guide and stuff like that, he's like one of my coverage options where if you're coming up against a bunch of red units, having him is a really nice one to, you know, have that elemental advantage against the enemies. So he's a nice one to have, and the fact that they're giving us that coverage, we have Yuri as our coverage for green that we get 4 free copies of just through playing the game. Now this guy we get 4 free copies of. They're setting us up nicely to have some coverage in the early game, which I really like. Maybe soon we'll get a red unit as well. But let's go through his skills. So special move, he dashes towards the ally, and this is at max skill, so when you have him it will be lower on this, but these are just taken from max skills. But he dashes to the ally with the lowest HP, knocking back all enemies he collides with. When he arrives at the ally, he creates a barrier for that ally and himself equal to 1600% of his attack, lasting 10 seconds, then provokes nearby enemies for 10 seconds, and he gains status effect immunity while dashing. So this is like a really good one. Like I said, he's one of those ones you want to sub in when you're fighting a bunch of red units, so that he has the elemental advantage and he can just be like, nah, I'm just going to soak all this up. It's fantastic. Then he gains his next active, he gains status effect immunity and increases physical and magical resistance by 80% for 16 seconds. Good mitigation. Once again, I wouldn't be using him too much in neutral or negative fights, more against the red heavies once again, but really making him just a very functional tank and protector for that. Next ability, releases a wave of power, paralyzing nearby enemies for 2 seconds and strengthening his right arm. He uses his strengthened right arm in the next basic attack to deal 380% of his attack as damage 3 times in a row to enemies in a fan-shaped area, stunning them for 1 second. So he gets that stun capacity as well, which is nice. And then finally, for his passive, he decreases enemies' attack by 4%, for 5 seconds when attacking them, max up to 5 stacks. So you can see how he is one of those great coverage options to take a lot of hits with his taunting. He's got control, and then he's going to mitigate a bunch of damage while he's under that control, and also reduce the damage enemies deal, which is super handy when you've got other allies that maybe go into melee range who you don't want to be taking that much damage. So he's a really good supportive kit, and the fact that we're getting 4 copies is going to be really nice, not to mention the extra 30 pulls. We'll take that. Let's take a quick look at his exclusive equipment. At the moment, for most players, level 1's all you're going to get to. The defensive allies whose barriers from transform wing shield, so from his ultimate ability, were removed, is increased. But that is such a bad wording of an ability, or maybe it's just that I suck at reading, which is definitely something that's true. But basically, once they have it removed, their defense is increased by 10% for 10 seconds, is essentially what we're looking at. Decreases the attack of enemies provoked by 10%. That's not going to be too bad. Recovers 4% of his max HP and increases the attack coefficients of his barrier by 20% for every enemy knocked back by the transforming shield. That's not too bad either. But once again, these are kind of much later game type stuff. And then his damage taken decreases by 20% while the wing state is active, wing shield is active. So not too bad. That is his kit. Once again, the blue tank, I did mention him as one of my coverage options, and that's just going to be really solid to go ahead and get a pickup of him. Now, if you're looking for other elemental coverage, I've mentioned in other videos, but we'll just go through and cover it quickly. Like I said, he is a great coverage for water when you're coming up. I always say water, but blue when you're coming up against a bunch of reds. We've obviously got Yuri, who does massive damage and also absorbs a lot of damage, good defenses, stuff like that. But then when you look to the fire one, he is the one that is my pick for, you know, your fire coverage, just as that unit to slap in to soak some damage. Once again, not fire, red, when you're coming up against green enemies. And I feel like now that they've set us up with 2 of them, you know, then if I pick up 1 copy of him, or maybe wait, see if that's their plan to give us, you know, coverage tanks, that would be really solid. And then we can get him, and then we can move on. And then everything else, like I've mentioned before in my team guide, you're looking at sort of a purple or a yellow core to guarantee that you're always in that advantageous state or never in a disadvantage, and then you're going to be swapping through those units. But once again, that event should be starting, if I look at the times again, it should be starting pretty much on the next reset. So reset is, for me, well, it tells you there, but yeah, it's on the reset. If you've played AFK Arena or Eversol, it's the same reset time as those games. So that's what we're looking at for the resets. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. 4 free copies of him, which is sick, and 30 free pulls. Can't complain. I do want to see more events where we actually do stuff, but hey, just freebies for logging in. Don't forget to put the push notifications on. That's the most important thing. I'll take it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.